And welcome back to the Correspondents on Voice of America. I'm Arcega in Washington. Well, 100 years ago this week, in fact, U.S. President Woodrow Wilson created the National Park Service. Today, the National Park System maintains more than 400 sites across the country, including monuments and pristine landscapes that are visited by more than 300 million people each year. Award-winning photographer Carol M. Highsmith knows many of these places very well. She's been taking pictures of America for 35 years. VOA's Julie Taboh recently sat down with a Washington-based artist. Here's part of Julie's report.
Carol Highsmith has been called America's photographer. She's been traveling the U.S. for more than 3 decades, taking pictures of the people and places that make America unique.
When I go out across America, what do I photograph? Everything. Someone said to me, well, why would you photograph the Golden Gate Bridge, for instance? Everybody's taking photographs of it. Yes, there will be images of the Golden Gate Bridge that may exist 500 years from now, but the ones that we know will exist in high resolution will be mine at the Library of Congress.
Highsmith is collaborating with the Library of Congress in Washington, the largest library in the world, to capture as many images as she can.
It's important that we have our beautiful scenes tucked away and a place that knows all about preservation.
Her vast collection, all copyright-free, includes many memorable images of America's national parks.
I've been to most of them, and it's everything from the spectacular and vast Grand Canyon to wintertime scenes of Yellowstone.
And to tell us more about Highsmith's photographs and why she does what she does, I'm joined by my friend Julie Taboh, who has produced more than a dozen reports on our national parks. It's great to have you back, Julie.
It's great to be back.
You know, I'm loving this series of reports because here we have a remarkable woman who's taking some remarkable, stunning photographs, and she's doing this without any compensation.
Absolutely. I mean, I think of her as being on a patriotic mission. Here she is going around the country and photographing on professional equipment with years of experience as a professional photographer. Just these places in America, from small little barns to massive places like the Grand Canyon.
What drives her?
She has this passion to just document this country that she's grown up with and loves so much, and feels that it should be shared with everybody. But also she's worried that in future generations, due to climate change, the earthquake we had in DC where we almost lost our Washington Monument, I mean, just everything from development, that we're going to lose this, and she wants to preserve that.
So the whole idea is to capture it now for our future generations.
Exactly.
You know, when I was studying journalism, a professor told me that newsworthiness is typically based on how many people are affected by your story. So based on that metric, 100 years of conservation, that's a pretty big deal, and that affects a lot of people.
Absolutely. I mean, I think what happened is these individuals like, Woodrow Wilson, and before him, Roosevelt, Teddy Roosevelt, who was so passionate about, natural areas and wanting to preserve that. And so it started with a lot of individuals like that committed. And then people like Carol, people like Micah, who's 30 years old, traveling the parks. There's these generations that come after who just have that same commitment and want to not only see it for themselves, but to share that.
Let's talk about Micah Meyer, because the last time you spoke with me, we featured this young man, Micah Meyer, who has made it his quest to actually visit every single one of the 412 national
Exactly.
parks.
And
how's he doing?
He's doing fantastically, thanks. And we just have a new park, by the way, that was added by President Obama on the birthday of the parks, which is on the 25th, on Thursday. And he has just finished a couple of parks in Minnesota, and he is just very much enjoying it. And what he told me in our last conversation was that he loves going to the smaller places, places that people that maybe you and I and others have never heard about. Right. And so he goes on a riverboat, or he goes camping in the wilderness on these smaller islands and on the smaller rivers that he's trying to bring attention to, and saying our great parks and our massive parks are wonderful, but there's these little areas too that are important as well.
And Micah has been keeping in touch with Voice of America, right? I mean, he's been in regular touch with you, sort of giving you updates. What is he discovering about the United States? I mean, is he enjoying himself?
He is having the time of his life. He's got this big white van that is his home away from home. And he says it's wonderful, and he is relying a little bit on the generosity of strangers. So he might stumble upon an inn, and the owners will say, you stay for the night. And he said it's great to just be able to have a shower. But what's wonderful is he is sharing as he's going along and discovering things with us. We speak every Tuesday, and we take highlights of his trips, and with photographs and videos that he's providing, we are able to share it with our audience. One example was our last conversation. He said he wasn't aware until now just how strong the Native American influence is in so many of our parks. So we had a good conversation about that I did a story on this week.
And what's been really fascinating about this as well, just sort of watching your reports, is your commitment as well to this whole idea of conservation and sort of celebrating the natural beauty that we have in this country. I've already seen like about a dozen of your reports, all sort of looking at various aspects of our national parks. Why do you do it?
I consider myself actually very privileged to be able to be the sort of the bystander who is looking at Micah's work, looking at Carol Highsmith's photographs and being awed by them, and sort of, you know, feeling like I'm being a voyeur onto these amazing landscapes that maybe I wouldn't ordinarily get to see. And so, and many of our audience members won't get to see. So we get to see it through their eyes. And as someone who came to this country 35 odd years ago, perhaps I have an appreciation for these, national treasures that I have yet to discover fully. And
I'm gaining a new appreciation for your reporting, because as a first-time grandfather, I'm sort of getting this longer sense, this longer perspective that I do want to see I do want to make sure that my granddaughter sees some of these things before they're gone.
Well, that's exactly, I think, the point, is people like Carol Highsmith who travel the country want your grandchildren.
Check out our website and get the latest of Julie's reports right there, voanews.com. Thank you, Julie Taboh. Get out there, visit a national park this weekend if you can, but that's our show. We'll be back again next week for another edition of the Correspondents. Meantime, stay up to date with the latest news around the world. All you got to do, go to voanews.com. For now, I'm Arcega in Washington. So long.